Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformer commanders in World of Warships Legends. Key to note on this, if you go to the store tab, you can actually buy the commanders. You can buy these ship skins that we're seeing here individually. There's also crates. Now, what value the crates have, I don't know if they got other stuff in them. But if we're going to try and get Commander X, you see something on this video you like, you want it, go to the store, buy it directly for the 5K doubloons. Expensive, yes, but the crates are a crapshoot, okay? Maybe you'll get lucky, maybe not. But that's my advice. If you have the opportunity to buy something you want directly rather than in a roundabout way by gambling on it, I would go with the old reliable strategy. Jumping into it here. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer before we get going on this. Of course, this is my opinion. Keep that in mind. Number two, my playstyle might be different than yours, so something that looks good to me or something that looks good to you might not apply vice versa, okay? So maybe I don't play a certain way, but you're watching the screen here saying to yourself, ooh, that looks interesting for me, the way I play that ship. So those are possibilities. And also, whenever I do these commander videos, the value of them goes way up the more interaction we have in the comments, because a lot of you guys are going to have these commanders. Let us know your feedback. Are they any good? Or if you're seeing alternative builds that I haven't necessarily considered, let us know, because there's the whole point of the commander system is customization and allowing everyone to look at a certain thing from a different angle. So those are the caveats. Here we go. Autobot Hot Rod. What is this? This is an Edinburgh commander specifically, or you can put it on the Marley. But why are these the only ones I'm noting? Because decrease radar reload time. Now, of course, that's a base trait that applies to all radar in the game. You can put it on the Orkan, you can put it on all the radar cruisers, but for this build, it's a cruiser build mostly. But special trait over here, air detection range, -20, radar duration up 10 when we get it maxed. Okay, and that's a slot 3 perk, so doable. You got to get it to 14.3. But at the end of the day, I was almost about to put a bunch of points in this. I had some PO saved up. I'm going to promote one of these guys to 14, and we'll see which one I did in a little bit. Hot Rod initially was my first guy, but then I'm like, yo, if I'm running radar Edinburgh, why not run Tyrwit? Double concealment here. Now we can stealth radar. Any destroyer spots us, well, our detection range is 0.2 kilometers less than our radar range. So if we get spotted by anything in the game, we know, pop the radar, boom, we're going to immediately spot them back. So I like Tyrwit. I usually run the smoke on the Edinburgh. But initially I was thinking, this looks pretty good. And I actually think this is a better build if Clan Wars becomes what those of us that have been hoping, dreaming about them, if it fulfills our fantasies, right? If they do it right and we actually get like hyper competitive play in this game, I think this could be a pretty good build, and especially this base trade, because radars in games where there's a lot of good players are extremely valuable. Radars in games where everyone on your team doesn't shoot the guy anyways when you spot him, not as valuable. Okay, and that's the majority of your random battles, because most of the guys don't zoom out. They just shoot at battleships on the moon. So the more competitive the game, the better this base trade and this build, in my opinion. But that said, I'll probably try them out at some point in time, but currently not promoted. Number 2, Decepticon Starscream. Now we got Carrier Commander Germany here. My thoughts on this is his value today is peaked. Okay, now why is this? Because this base trait currently is quasi-valuable, and it'll likely decrease as time goes on. Increase aircraft cruise speed. All right, we're talking about planes that are flying 194 miles an hour. Now we're boosting them by 2% max. That's what, 4 knots in the air? You're going to notice the difference between 194, 198, whatever it is. I ain't going to notice. Maybe you play enough carriers that you would notice that, but that's 2% boost pretty low, okay, on something that helpful, but not necessarily that interesting to me. Why is it peaking right now, though, is because there's not that many inspirations. We got this Iona gal, reduced aircraft recovery time, and that I would say is more valuable than this. But now my other aircraft carrier builds usually have Fishboy. And what's going on with here? We got torp speed. Well, in Germans, the torps are garbage anyways, okay? So there's going to be opportunities to boost the aircraft carrier or the aircraft plane speed. And that'll be better than some other options that you currently have. You could put Swirsky on there for carrier concealment. You could put Von Hipper for secondary range. You can do some AA guys like the American and the Yamaguchi, Christy Yamaguchi's grandpa, the carrier commander. Those guys boost the AA performance. I mean, some of these things will affect your carrier play, but not the planes. Okay, so we only really have these two inspirations, I believe, and Francois Douay. All right, increase the aircraft carrier's HE bomb damage, which we don't even have those on the Germans, the HE bomb. And so, you know, this is a serviceable inspiration, not that interesting. As for the build itself, here's the trade-off that we're going for. Slot 2 here, aircraft return speed, boost up 20% and 4% for both sets of planes HP. Interesting. Now, the Germans tend to get shot down a lot, but of course, we're going to get the HP boost here. But what are we trading off to have this? This is basically a Geisler build. We got identical here, identical here. This is the same. This is new, and we're losing something here. What are we losing over there on Geisler? AP bomb damage, okay, good, but AP bomb pen, probably his best perk, and probably the most German-centric perk here. So instead of that, we're going with aircraft cruise speed. Now, if we look at, let's say we got this guy max, we got a 4% boost on the cruise speed here, we got a 2% boost here. Now all of a sudden we're talking about 6%. Maybe you would actually notice that, yes. You're not going to notice 2%, but maybe 6% you would, okay? So if you're actually using this build, your planes are probably going to be demonstrably faster, but we're also giving up some of that AP performance. Now, 3% boost to your AP pen. Do you notice that either? Probably not. Who knows? That's the trade-off. I've got some interest in Starscream. I put 1 point into him just to remind myself that I got some interest into him. But on paper, I probably still currently favor Geisler. So this guy I'd say is above average. And this guy I'd say is average. Grimlock. Now, I'll preface this by saying sometimes in the comments or in my stream chat, you guys will say, try out secondary builds on French. I always say, oui, mon chéri, but I never actually do it, okay? Because I don't... I mean, the main French ones, you know, Jean Bart, Richelieu, the secondaries fire backwards. I don't usually point my rear at the enemy, you know, but I don't know. It just doesn't inherently appeal to me that much. But here we got kind of it's a action build, I guess you would call it. Like our boy over here, Arthas the Cold, Warhammer guy. This guy I'm just starting to play around with, but damage to your battleship while the catapult fighter is up 20%. So basically how you play this, it's like playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat back in the day where you go back, forward, and then as you hit forward, you hit the A button at the same time. Then all of a sudden your guy goes Hadouken and something happens, okay? It's kind of the same concept here where here we hit the catapult fighter not for the purpose of using the catapult fighter itself. Maybe the consumable will work out as intended anyways, but we're mainly using it as an action button to get that 20% damage. Same thing over here. We're using the secondary target and reload time, which for me I don't have currently on any of my French battleships, but we put that into the you know, the consumable slot on the, you know, you trade off the fighter, the spotter aircraft, or the secondary consumable. Here we would use the secondary, hit that, and then all of a sudden that's interacting with this thing. Shell grouping of your ship's main guns while enhanced secondary targeting is active, 20% maxed. 15% at level 3, which is, both of those are the most likely values if you start putting some points into this thing. And that's pretty decent, because the French actually reload pretty quickly. You're going to get at least 2 for sure. I haven't done the math yet. You might get a 3rd if you really max everything out in terms of this and this. I don't know. I would count on probably 2 shots, though. But with 20% extra accuracy, that's huge. I mean, that's nice. So this is interesting. I'm not going to jump onto this one yet because I got a French build Dunkirk that I like currently. I got other things that are higher priorities, but when we run out of other things to do, this will be on the top of the list because this is intriguing. This one I'm interested to hear from you guys, though, that are trying this out. How good is this? Because that's really, that's a big boost to the accuracy, right? And you can start whacking some guys. if I start hearing word on the street that this is as strong as it could be, then maybe we'll make a beeline for it. But base trait, you could factor this into a secondary build like on a Bismarck, but there's enough other perks available, base traits available, and I got them because I get to preview all the commanders. I'm a little bit lucky there. But you want to look at my Silax build. I mean, this is Von Hipper and this Haruna. I mean, those are much better, in my opinion, than putting this on. But the secondary targeting mod is much better than most players actually realize. I will throw that out there as well. So boosting the reload on that, not bad. You could consider putting that on your secondary builds, and you can consider putting the secondary build on your French to begin with. But basically, you're trying to boost this Grimlock up here to have this interact with this perk, okay? If you're not going to put this on here, don't play this commander. There's better options. You'd rather run your Emily Gwep over here with your Megalomania. Same build otherwise. So anyway, Dinobot, I'd say, I guess I'm rating that above average as well. I guess all of them are average or above average, but none of these are mind-blowing. The one that I actually put some points in, and you might be saying to yourself, Italian cruiser commanders. You got Luigi 14, you got Mimbelli 14. Now we got this thing called Decepticon Soundwave 14. How many resources are we putting into the Italian cruiser commanders? And I agree with you. This is outrageous. I barely ever play the Italians. Initially I was going Luigi, then I'm like, Mimbelli is the better, and now I'm like, yeah, let's check out the Soundwave because we saved up some POs. Wanted to try one of them out. And what was interesting to me here is we're getting more smoke deployment time. Now this rolling smoke, right? Now my philosophy with the Italians, love it or hate it, is use your speed, use your concealment, get into these intractable positions right off the bat of the game, and challenge them to get you out of there. But that's kind of relying on your teammates. This is a much better play if you have reliable destroyer / battleship behind you that are going to support you. If you get into like this really creative position off the flank, which most ships could never get into comfortably, but your team's like, yo, I'm sailing across the map to the other side, that's not going to work out anyways. You're going to get smoked. But anyway, smoke deployment time, that's just getting a little bit more time on that smoke consumable, which basically protects you on the tail end of your deployment. But then I'm like, what's going on here? Because we're increasing the smoke, but we're losing the speed. Basically, this is a Mimbelli build, but we're losing the speed here. And I almost think this just cancels itself out, using it for the purpose that I want it to be used for, which is your initial deployment. And again, the smoke being deployed right at the end to get right when you get spotted. Okay, well, now I pop the smoke and I continue on to get to the creative spot that I was trying to get to. But we already got the rolling smoke with Mimbelli anyways. A little bit shorter duration, but now we got better speed. And we got better reload time of the main guns, which is not good on the Italians anyways, versus torpedo detection range / rudder shift time. Both good, but neither of those are going to go up that much. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, now that I'm looking at this, saying, probably not the best to use my POs, but that's how I would envision this build. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on this. Again, I do want to get feedback from you guys. What do you see that I'm missing? What has your experience been so far? Those of you that have tried these out, let us know so that the people that have been waiting around to get some reviews in, they can get some feedback and hear from you guys. Anyways, that's going to do it for that one, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing. We're chasing the 20K. We're close, but we need a little bit more of a push. So help me out there. If you do like the channel, please subscribe. And like I said, questions, comments, leave them below, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.